On a recent day, I found myself in a sparsely furnished room that was part of a hospital structure, perched high up on a mountain, far from anything and everything that we city dwellers deem civilization. I mean, this place was so remote that even birds had to file a flight plan to get there. An adverse reaction to a medicine had brought me to this Ayurvedic facility. But amidst the natural beauty that surrounded me, the collection of books I had brought along, and the smiling faces of the staff, all my sinking spirit saw was the absence of screens. And what was still more disappointing and disheartening was that I had to survive 15 days with little or no Wi-Fi. And then I had this light bulb moment. I decided to utilize every minute of those 15 days to take inspiration from the nature and the silence that surrounded me to write a book. And guess what? The book became a bestseller, and I, the youngest best-selling author in the world. No, that did not happen. Just for that single moment, I wanted to enjoy being that very amazing teen with his own bestseller. Well, what actually happened was that I glowered and griped and sulked and whined. I was flabbergasted that there still existed a place on this planet where humans could survive without Wi-Fi and screens. I understood that my story from here was just going to spiral into insanity. Now, let's do some math to understand the root cause of my problem, shall we? An average human begins using social media as young as 10 years. Yes, that's the case now. An average person spends about 3.4 million minutes of their life on social media. That's about 6 years and 8 months of your whole lifetime spent aimlessly scrolling through Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and the likes. Combine that, the 8 years and 4 months an average person spends looking at the television screen. That's about 15 years of your whole lifetime being spent slumped over screens. Now, that's a lot. As if that's not bad enough, you can be rest assured that social media companies over the next several decades are just going to come up with more compelling ways to lure their audience, like us, into using their apps for longer periods of time. Are you itching to fact-check these stats in Google? Yeah, yes you are. I can sense the doubt in your eyes. That is how much we are addicted to our screens. Now, back to my escapade. On day one, I just sat oscillating between being angry and lost without my digital safety net. With applications like Netflix and YouTube clearly out of bounds, I fervently hoped that we would be upgraded to a room with a TV and a cable connection. I mean, it's a basic human right to have that at least, isn't it? But the nurses, however, found my request pretty funny. The doctors continued to preach about the healing powers of nature. And Grandad, my trusty sidekick, was on a search for signal like he was on a perpetual hunt for buried treasure. By day 2, the boredom pushed me out of my room. I walked about aimlessly, refusing to resolve my situation. I missed the pings of notifications, my memes, Google's endless wisdom, and even grandmom's good morning messages on WhatsApp. How could I survive without knowing what my friends had for breakfast or what Shah Rukh Khan's son wore to Karan Johar's next party? Well, here's the plot twist. I survived, and I'm here to introduce you to an ancient technique lost to time and buried under the sands that I am here to revive again. The art of face-to-face conversation. Yes, you heard that correctly. Real human interaction. Imagine that. Imagine talking to people face-to-face, not through emojis and GIFs, but through actual words. Turns out humans are quite entertaining when you give them the chance. And then one day, my mother saw her son instead of a craned neck looking over his phone. Granddad started sharing stories about a time when the internet was just a distant dream, and the mouse, a fascinating piece of technology. These conversations gave birth to stories about his struggles in an India that was still rebuilding and recouping itself post-independence. We had talks about politics and sport in India, conversations that often led to heated debates. I had chats with the patients, visitors. I learned about the lives of the hospital staff. And suddenly, this place became a warm, cozy nest with numerous smiling faces and innumerable stories to share. During one of my walks in the Yen garden that resided in the hospital premises, I realized that there had been a time when I had enjoyed having conversations. I'd enjoyed going out on solitary strolls like these. So when had the lure of screens taken my attention and then turned it into addiction? The COVID times. Those times when the virus doubled our rooms into classrooms and meeting rooms through the day. Those times when Wi-Fi was as important as the air we breathe. Those times when Netflix and YouTube were our primary sources of entertainment. Weren't we physically present under one roof, yet mentally never present in the moment? I clearly remember being trapped in the growing spell of gizmos until my eyes popped out and eyeballs rolled on the floor. So here is how I thought my basic human needs pyramid looked like this. But this was the reality. This reality led me to ponder upon certain questions. Do we like it when the phones that we build are smarter than us? Have the shallow text of approval, of likes and comments, overpowered the voices of your best friend, your sibling, and your parents? Are there more phones than people on this planet? And then these questions led me to another train of thought. See, as much as we romanticize about the simple lives that people lived in the pre-addicted era, would you like if you had to wait for over a week to get a handwritten letter by snail mail when you could just get it in WhatsApp, just like that? Dear parents and teachers sitting in this audience, would you like it if children blindly accepted whatever you told them without having the curiosity to find out about the what, the why, and the how from Google, or right now even ChatGPT? Would my parents be content with me just reading a book when my neighbor's kid could computate the speed of a bullet train or the height of Burj Khalifa through an application on his tablet? And like all of you sitting over here, wouldn't I too want to keep abreast of Christopher Nolan's next ventures or Virat Kohli's next temper tantrums on the field? The idea, I realize, is in bringing about a balance between the two, where we must stop believing that our eyes are for our screens only, and we must learn to look up from its lure and really cherish those moments that make us human. I realize that technology is like the side dish that goes best with life's main course. So I'm a South Indian, okay? So let me put it this way. Technology is like the coconut chutney that goes best with life's crispy hot dosha. I came up with a formula to help with Wi-Fi withdrawal. So here it is. Dare to look up from your screens, plus look at your real world surroundings. That equals real human life. Simple, isn't it? Well, I plan to use that formula quite often myself because no one in their deathbed was heard saying, I wish I had enough time to check out just one more notification. Thank you.